All right, next game. Next. All right, we'll do Wang Hao versus Fabiano. This was the most boring game of all time, and then Fabiano was winning. I don't know. So somehow they got the most symmetrical position ever. Boring. Boo, boo. Obviously, it was Wang Hao's fault. Yeah, and this is just a draw. Yeah, and they drew later. Now we'll look at the next game. No, they didn't draw later, actually. If anything, I'd rather have white here, because this bishop is shallow and pedantic. All right, so nothing happened. He played f6, so you know he lost. Now, f6, unfortunately, is a good move here. You stop here, and almost as important is the bishop can drop back to f7. Then the bishop could be good one day. Could be, probably not. Then your rook can challenge the e-file. So the fact that you have a white squared bishop and no dark squared bishop, and the fact that he's 2800, I give him special dispensation to play f6. Although the worst move Fabi ever played in his life was f6. Black against Varuzhin Akobian, U.S. Championship about 3 years ago. Man, when you lose to Akobian, you know you made the worst move of your career. God damn. Fabi was like +5, and he lost because he played f6.
Oh, no.
Then he was losing. Bad move, Ben. What about Leroy Brown? Yeah. Yeah, me and Fabi are like, that, son. Well, not really. Okay. So then it's still boring. It's always equal. Nothing's happening. Nothing's more boring than this game. All right. Again, I would take white if anything, but it's a draw. All right. And Fabi plays for the win with h5, putting it in h. He's not winning. He's not even better. But he's trying. He's trying real hard to be the shepherd. Right? Now, I'm not going to kill you because I'm in a transitional period. So, here, take the money out of this wallet. How much is it? About $2,300. Good. With this and the other wallets, that's a good score for you. And then John Travolta says, if you give him that money, I'm going to shoot him on principle. And then he says, shut the up. He's not going to do nothing. Yolanda, you still with me? I want to go home. I want to go pee. You're doing great, Yolanda. All right.
Does Ben have a life outside of TV?
Pulp Fiction. Hooray. Yeah.
He does like some TV.
Point the gun at me. Good. Point the gun at me, Yolanda. All right, so this is really boring. Nothing's happening. Pawn structure is symmetrical. They traded half the pieces. The engine always says it's equal. But, you can still win. Opponent plays bad. Okay, so rook c1 is much disliked by the engine. The engine wants the queen here, putting tremendous pressure on the d5 pawn. And Fabi prevented queen b5, which also puts tremendous pressure on the d pawn. So the engine wants to play queen e2 to f3, and it says white's a little bit better. Or white could put it in h and try to fix these pawns on the white squares. But instead, Wang Hao played random legal move, and then Fabi's like, I'm coming to get you. Still equal, but you can see Wang Hao's not doing anything. Yeah. Okay, now this has helped Black because the bishop has more squares now. Black has a passed pawn. This passed pawn got no hope. This is a protected passed pawn because Black's going to go here at some point. And this is something that I actually can't explain to the chat, but I could tell you. If I had like a 5 hours, I could explain to you what I mean. But every grandmaster knows what I'm going to say now. And by every grandmaster, I mean like a third of them. Yeah. This is a secret you're not allowed to know. One of the reasons Black is better here is Black's rook is on an open file. And even if this rook was on an open file, which it's not, so that's the end of the discussion, Black is still better because the open file is closer to the kings. That would take me hours to explain, so just believe me. But here it's the only open file, so it's obviously better for black. So this idea worked, and the problem with Wang Hao was he thought it was just going to be a draw, so he was doing that. And then Fabi's like, but I want to win. And then, Wang Hao said no talking. But he said it in Chinese, so Fabi kept talking. It was weird. Okay, queen d2. Then he blockades. b5, preventing b5. Now the pawn's not as protected. Always retreat. Yeah, now we got 2 files to go to work on the homes here with pliers and a blowtorch. Right, sweetie? You hear me talking, hillbilly boy? I ain't through with you by damn sight. And highlight the message. Open files. Better than a corrupt file.
How come you tell that secret to public?
Terrible.
Did you tell a secret?
Yeah.
What?
I said when the rook's trying to open files, it's more important to be near the king.
Oh.
Hey, I have a lot of subs. Let's get to 3,300 subs. We've never done that. Somebody donate 53 subs. I'll wait. Okay. Why didn't he take on a3? Okay, if he takes on a3 here, he loses his bishop. So that would be bad. And then here, he can't take on a3 because b7 pawn's attacked. Now he can take on a3. Okay, as Stewie would say, don't shoot. Okay, now shoot. Great episode. For $1 trillion, in the episode I'm referencing, where Stewie says, don't shoot. Okay, now shoot. What's his favorite food? Yer Trejo gifted 3 subs.
Whose favorite food? Stewie's?
Yeah, in that episode.
Oh, I don't know.
Let's see if people in the chat know. Wheat Thins. Should I ban him? Probably.
That's not Wheat Thins.
No. Wow, you guys don't know? You guys are terrible. There we go. Tuesday's Green Nose. Pancakes. Click, 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 bloody pancakes. Must be street for crack. That was a long, complicated episode. They took Stewie away from the Family Guy, gave him to some religious people.
Oh.
Because the woman thought that Meg was Stewie's mom. And Meg was like, he's on crack. She wanted to get extra tips as a waitress. And they took Stewie away. And then, okay, I want pancakes. Click, 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 buddy pancakes. Okay, A4, question mark. Wang Hao was thinking like you, which was Wang. He was thinking, no. But he had to think, yes. Okay, like Pickle Rick. Yes. Complicated joke. So he has to play D5, then he's fine. Because if you take this, Yasser Sarouan would recommend to push him, baby. Okay, so he played this, no good. And now black's better. Now black's going to attack on the king's side, passed pawn here, open file here, Papa John's. Now he played D5, too late. Now, when the pawn was on G6, last move, bishop G6 was illegal. Now the bishop has a nice juicy square here, plus tax. Now he tries to trade rooks. Queen F4, double exclam, former muscle. If you take the rook, you lose your queen. And if you take the queen, black plays the winning Zwischenzug, rook takes E1, and then takes back. So he has to move his queen. Bishop C2, he did it again. Fabi's so mean. Queen has to move again. Rook E5, a collinear move. And you can see he's dominating. And this reminds you of the game, and by you I mean me, but I'm going to tell you. This reminds you of the game Anish Giri versus Wang Hao. A very smooth win about 4 rounds ago by Anish, because in that game, Wang Hao had a queen on A8. And I was like, say, what? So I guess that's what Wang Hao likes to do. Nobody puts Wang Hao in the corner, but he puts himself in the corner. Yeah, terrible. So it's funny, on Family Guy, I think it's Family Guy. Could be some other cartoon. They're referencing that movie, and they're like, wouldn't that guy go to jail? He's like 45, and she's like 15. So, and
Oh, okay.
yeah. What's going on in this movie? Okay.
That's true.
Okay, rook e5, queen e5, terrible. Great pawn, blocked pawn, more space, the knight's pinned, king can't move anywhere, your battery's low, terrible. Lick My Hadron gifted 5 subs. Now I want to apologize because I'm pretty sure all the things I say and all the analysis was already said in a similar way by Bartholomew and Rosen. Right, sweetie?
Maybe.
No. Yep. Delicious. Okay, the game concluded a5, king up, and white just can't move. White's got nothing. Yeah, now this knight's pinned, so you can't take it, and the d pawn and the pin and some action here. So, for example, Karen, king h1 was a mistake because if the king was on g1, we could play queen e1. Can't play queen e1 now. Do you know why? Remember, because the king's on h1 instead of g1. That's the difference.
Let's see.
So queen e1 is like ace king, and Dominic will tell you ace king no good. No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ace king's a drawing hand. Sounds good. You don't know?
Well, rephrase the question. Say it again.
Why is that bad? And why should it feel bad?
Oh, because of bishop g2 check.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, this is the kind of thing I say when I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. This is very similar to the Wang Hao game he lost with the Pomniachi. It was equal the whole game, and then as Wang Hao put it, then I played like a 2200 after move 40. That's what he did this game. Game was equal the whole game. Then he's like, I want to go back to China. I hate this place. Like he doesn't have when you're a super GM, you can't fade. Okay? And fading is something that I talk with when I had students, with my high-rated students. Okay? The reason at the top level players are higher rated than other players, like 2800s are higher than 2700s, 27s are higher than 2600s, and etc. At the lower levels, the reason somebody's higher rated is they make 4 blunders a game and their opponent makes 7, but that's different. So at the top level, everybody plays really well. Okay? They're playing great. As you noted before the stream started, or during the stream, Gawain Jones was playing great, then he would lose. Exactly. That's called fading. Gawain Jones plays just as well as his super GM opponent until he doesn't. So the first 30, 40, 50 moves, you don't know who the better player is. Then the last 10 moves, you're like, oh, I guess that guy's the worst player. And he did that like 4 times this tournament. Gawain Jones had winning and drawing positions, which he threw away. And he was really upset. I mean, he was sitting there choking on his own rage because he knows. Everybody knows. And that's what Wang Hao's done. Wang Hao is really good. And this tournament, he's playing like a Potzer at some point in the game. He's fading. And that's ridiculous. That's like what I would do, not what Wang Hao should do. Wang Hao should play 2760, 2770 the whole game, not the first 30 moves and be like, that's enough. And that's, a lot of weak players do that. I should have drawn because I played good for some period of time and then I forgot. And that's what he did this game. He made, in the last 10, 15 moves, like 5 mistakes. And before that, it was just all zeros. The mistakes are very small, but he's playing Fabi. So you can't do that. Terrible. Okay, so king h1's bad because now you can play bishop e4 and this pawn is shallow and pedantic. Okay, so he goes here. You can't take the bishop because it's pinned. So, and then he stops the pawn. He's lined up here. This is pinned, and this is indefensible. So black is winning. Queen takes d6. I didn't think the game ended here. I thought he kept playing. I guess the game did end here. Now, black's completely winning, and white was ashamed of his play. He knew that he was fine, and this is move 42. So now he sat there choking on his own rage, and he's like, all right. But yeah, it looked like Fabi was equal, then slightly better, then clearly better, then he won. And that's how Fabi would beat some 2600 player. That's not how he should beat Wang Hao. He shouldn't beat Wang Hao from a drawn position that's nobody's better. Terrible. How do you prevent fading? You have to realize that you do it, and you have to concentrate and try harder when you're tired after 4 hours. And that's how I got a lot better. I would lose a lot of games due to that when I was up and coming as a junior. And then I got mentally tougher near the end. And that's why I win a lot of games in USCF rated play against players 2100 to 2400. If you watch the game, you're like, why is that guy a grandmaster? He's not better than the other guy. And then on move 35, 45, 55, the guy shows who he is. Sort of like in Seinfeld, when the guy took it out. He took it out. And then later, the guy said, I don't know what the problem was. And Jerry said, you showed her who you were. So he took it out. So I win a lot of games in slow rated play where I'm not winning. And my opponent's 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 points lower than me. Then they prove their rating later. And I'll give you an example. We'll see if Karen remembers. I'm going to guess she does. I was playing at Georgia Tech before you guys were born, about 3 years ago. And I was playing at 2200, and the position was complicated. It wasn't clear who was better, and we both had no time on our clock. And people were telling Karen, like, man, I think Ben might lose. What Karen didn't know is I don't lose. She didn't know that. And you remember that I was playing 2200. It was that the black guy who comes here.
Oh, in Bono?
No. He's higher rated than Bono, I think.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
What's his name? I know his name. He's come here several times. Mm-hmm. Usually shows up late for the round.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He resigned a game here when he wasn't losing because he was mad. Sort of like Wang Hao. Like he had a drawn position that he was pressing, then he blundered, so now he's not pressing, so he resigned. That was terrible. Anyway, there's a lot of games I play, even on the stream, where you guys are like, well, Ben's going to lose this game. Ridiculous. And then you're like, what? For example, last night, I played a 2250 chess bra with a U, not with an A. Mm-hmm. And he had rook and 2 against rook and 1 on the same side. So I was trying to draw. I was trying to win. And then I won. I won both of his pawns, and I won. Because you have to play at a high level the whole game. You can't just stop because I'm already doing well. And this is an example of, Wang Hao just doesn't care. He doesn't care. I mean, it's embarrassing for somebody that high rated to twice in the last 4 days lose completely equal positions by just fading. By okay, now I'm going to play like a bad player. And that's what he did this game. Same as with the Nepomniachtchi game. And I didn't see the press conference, but people were just like, yeah, Wang Hao doesn't want to play anymore. He just wants to go home. I never heard of 2760 in a candidates tournament and be like, I just want to go home. I'll resign. That's nonsensical.